So very good morning to you all. Today, as per the schedule, we have the session on assessment and testing and evaluation. Assessment, testing and evaluation. This is 7th unit of our training methodology syllabus. Before going to this particular topic, assessment, testing and evaluation, we have discussed yesterday about written instructional materials, and the previous day writing instructional objectives for the classroom instruction. So in the written instructional materials, we have discussed about various written instructional materials to be prepared by an instructor to impart training theory and as well as practical. And we have also discussed about the importance of various written instructional materials to be prepared by the instructor. Some of the instructional materials are available in ready-made, and most of the instructional materials are prepared by an instructor. And today also one of the important topics of our syllabus, that is assessment, testing and evaluation. See, in the system of teaching and learning, mere teaching and learning is not sufficient. Only by teaching the subject, completing the subject, that is not enough. We have to test and we have to assess. We have to evaluate the performance of the trainees, both in theoretically as well as practically. So that is the importance of testing, evaluation and assessment. Let us see detailedly about this. And the objectives, that is the learning outcome of the session. After completion of the session, you will be able to achieve all this learning outcome, and you will be able to define test, state the purpose and advantages of test, then describe the characteristics of good test, and you will differentiate the relationship between assessment, evaluation and measurement. Then structure and criteria of multiple choice question. You will explain the structure, the importance of structure and criteria of multiple choice question. Then you will differentiate the formative and summative assessment. You will also record formative assessment parameters as per the NSQF. So every instructor must know how to record the formative assessment sheet, where we can assess the trainees' performance every time, periodically, monthly wise, weekly wise, and after completion of the portions. So all these objectives, let us see one by one. So before going to detailedly about assessment and measurement, let us see what is test. See, test, what in general people used to think. We have written so many tests starting from the pre-KGs. Kindergarten, starting from kindergarten, students are attending tests. It may be a oral test, sometimes a written test. ABCD you write, or you tell ABCD, what is your name and all. So they are, for selection also, they are conducting tests, maybe a kind of oral test. So, and even schools, we have written so many exams to pass the standards. Then higher secondary school we have written, and college at system, we have written so many semester exams. So in general, what we will think about test. So test means we will get one question paper, we'll write the test and we'll pass the test like that. So actually speaking, test is a tool. So through test only we will get the scores, and through test only assessment and evaluation will be done. So test is a tool. Let us see the definition, the proper definition of test. So test is nothing but an evaluation tool. Through tests, evaluation is being made to assess the learner's performance, and it is also defined as an unaided performance of the learners. So these are the general definition about the test. So we understand that test is a tool to evaluate an individual's performance. And let us see why these tests are being conducted. Why? What is the necessity of conducting the tests? So tests are conducted for admission and selection of the candidates. For admission purpose, various tests are being conducted. Then to check the understanding level of the learners. So for example, in a training institute or an educational institute, we will impart theory or practical skills. So after imparting the theory knowledge, we have to test to know or to get the understanding level of the students or trainees. For that, we have to conduct the test. So to check the understanding level of the learners, tests are very important. And to assess the success of the training program or teaching, success of the teaching. If we are a successful teacher, if we are a successful trainer, then our trainees will understand the subject very well, either theory or practical. So by conducting the tests, we will come to know our trainees understood very well. Our trainees have not understood the subject. If they have not understood, then we have to explain detailedly, properly, motivating them by telling the purpose of learning with examples and some models, so that again, if we conduct the test, then their performance will be better. So to assess the success of training and the teaching, tests are being conducted. Then to issue certificate, it may be a short-term course or it may be a long-term course. It may be 1 year course or 3 years degree course or 5 years degree course. After successful completion of the course, the learner will be able to get the certificate. It may be a degree certificate awarded by the universities or training institutions like our CTS and CATS, 1 year course or 2 years course. After successful completion of the course, they will get the certificate. So to issue certificate, tests are being conducted. Final trade test for our system, final trade test. Then selection for employment. Suppose an individual wants to write civil service examinations to want to become as an IAS officer or IPS officer or civil servant. What they have to do? They have to write written test, objective type test, then subjective type test, and interview. So to select such employment or even clerical grade post and banking service, so many services are there. Even for instructor post also, to select a person as an instructor, basic qualification you require, ITI diploma with a CITS certificate and a minimum 2 years experience. So you will apply. Then to select for that job, to fill up the post, tests are being conducted. So for various admission purpose, certification purpose, and the employment purpose, tests are being conducted. So we must know why tests are being conducted. And next, advantages of test. What are the advantages of test for the teachers, for the parents, and for the administration, and for an individual? See, what is the advantage for an individual as a learner? One individual has to attend the training program. It may be a short-term program or it may be a long-term program. Whatever it may be, he has completed the training program. Or he during the course of time also, the organization which the particular training or course being conducted, they will conduct the tests, periodical test. So that time the trainees or participants, the progress will be assessed by the people who are conducting the training. So if they are not understanding well, then they will come to know through the tests by evaluating their performance. So by that, through that, then learners will understand that this is my condition. So I am getting out of 100, I am getting 40 marks, 40% or 50%. So more than 50% I have to learn. I have to learn the subject, I have to learn the skill. Like that, the individual also will understand his condition in the class or in the batch. And teacher also, instructor also will understand, not only by individual one trainee, by 50% of trainees, how they are performing. See, if more than 50% of trainees are performing very well, that means our teaching process is very good. More than 50% trainees are scoring very less mark, means they are not understanding the subject. So our method is the teaching or training methodology which we are adopting is not proper. Ineffectively, we have to teach with examples or any creative methods, showing visual aids, audio visual aids, or models like that. The different styles, teaching styles has to be adopted in that way. And motivation also, we have to motivate the learners properly. So if we adopt all those steps, the students also will show interest and they perform well, better than the previous test. So these are the advantages for the students. And also they can see their rank in the class. Suppose 40 members are there, then they can see their rank. Within 10 ranks means, okay, I'm good, I'm better than 40 members, like that student can feel. So these are the advantage for the individual trainee or the student. And what are the advantages for the trainers or the teachers? So the teacher or a trainer will come to know the success and failure of the teaching process. If the trainees are showing better performance or better results through the tests, monthly tests or weekly tests, or time to time when you are conducting the tests, then they feel good, our progress is good, and trainees also understanding well, like that. If they are lacking interest, if they are showing less performance or their marks are very less, means then they will understand our teaching method is somewhere, it is not proper, and we have to properly teach them and make them to understand properly, like that. So the success and failure of the teaching learning process will come to know through the test results. So that is the advantage for the teachers. And also there will be a record for the teacher. So you will keep so many, as an instructor, you have so many records to be maintained, like the attendance register, tools and equipments register, consumable register, and all. At the same time, you have to conduct tests. So you can keep the question papers which you are preparing, and you can keep the results of the trainees. So monthly progress report, monthly reports you have to submit to the administration. For that purpose, it is a record for you when you conduct the tests. So this is also one of the important advantages of conducting tests for the teachers. Then parents, what is the advantage for the parents? See, parents are sending their children to the training institutions or schools or colleges by seeing their children's sons or daughters performance in theory or practical knowledge which they are gaining. They will feel happy that their communication skill is improving and their discipline is improving, their knowledge, skill, attitude, everything is improving. By seeing the children, they can notice the change, the transformation 6 months before how they were and now how they are, like that. So that is the advantage for the parents. And also they will feel happy that after successful completion of their course, they will get job. So they are performing well. If they are not performing well, they can motivate their children, and they can also consult the respective trade teachers in what way they can improve their performance, like that. So all these advantages are there through tests. Then administration also, they have they can keep records. They will have records for the institute activities, either short-term training programs or long-term training programs, or formative assessment, formative tests or summative tests. Through the test results, they will have the the effectiveness of teaching and effectiveness of learning of the trainees, and teaching from the trainers, teaching faculties, and learning from the trainees. So this effectiveness of teaching learning, the institute head will understand, so that trade-wise they can call for meeting, they can motivate the respective class teachers. If they are doing well, okay, good, better, best, like that, gradually you can improve to the best. If they're not doing well, they can also motivate in what way head of the institution can help the individual trade teacher. Sometimes some new topics an instructor may not handle. So that time, some specialized topics, we can call the experts from outside. Then we can ask them to complete the topic. In that way, the tests are giving advantage for the administration. So these are the advantages for the test. And next, characteristics of good test. So let us see what are the characteristics of good test. See, test में क्या है, good test, bad test ऐसा है. Yes, test also good test or bad tests are there. See, bad test means there are some criteria has to be followed. If it is not followed, that is not a good test. And what are the characteristics of a good test? Let us see. The statement of problem used in questions must be clear. So there is a test. Test means test item. The question item is called as test item. So test paper. Test is not the system. We are meaning here test means question item. The question item should be properly written, properly made, properly prepared by the question item. Who is preparing, who is responsible to prepare the question item should prepare the question in a simple manner without any confusions. So the statement of problem used in questions must be clear. This is one of the important characteristics. Then test should be constructed to measure the application ability of facts and principles of the trainees rather than his ability to memorize and recall. You see, we are imparting knowledge, we are imparting the skill. So when we impart knowledge, so many theoretical or derivations or so many definitions may be there. Simply memorizing the definition and writing on the in the test paper is not correct, because we are the trainee will recall just from his memory and write the test. That is not correct. Whatever definitions he learned, that has to be applied practically. So application of knowledge is very important. Application of the facts and principles which he has learned in his subject is very important. That has to be tested, not simply recalling from his memory. That is not correct. So the test item, when we construct the test item, the item should be prepared by considering the knowledge which the trainee or individual gained should be applied. The facts and principles has to be applied properly. That is the meaning of education or training, not simply recalling the subject or knowledge which has been imparted from his or her memory. The test should be valid and reliable in nature. See, validity and reliability are very, very important characteristics of a good test. Let us see detailedly with examples what is validity and what is reliability. See, validity and reliability can be identified by testing one individual at different times under different circumstances. So different times under different circumstances can be measured, this validity and reliability. Let us see how. So reliability means what? Let us see what is reliability first. So reliability means accuracy, the consistency of a test. Consistency means what? One time good means every time good. One time some good performance this manner means every time the performance is in that manner. That is called reliability, repeatedly same manner. And accuracy of what is measured also called as reliability. Same result, same individual on different occasions. One individual is writing one exam means the question paper has reliability and it is a reliable question. That individual will write similar kind of questions in similar occasions. The the easy level or the difficult, we'll say level 1, level 2, and level 3 difficult levels. So the difficult levels are even not very less difficult or not very high difficult or more difficult. So it is called as reliability. The result will be same for individual at different occasions. So if it is reliable, then it will be, the accuracy will be maintained in the preparation of the question items. So we must see the characteristics of good test, which is meeting the reliability. Then validity means what? Faithfulness of a test. See, the general meaning of faithfulness. Faithful. There is an intention to conduct a test. So whether it is meeting that, whether it is achieving, the intention is being achieved, that is called faithfulness. The purpose and efforts taken to test should be really achieved. So what purpose this test is being conducted? After conducting this, what will be achieved? Really it is achieved? Yes. So that is called validity. So how well a tool measures to what it intends to measure. The tool is called test paper, test question items, which consist of lot of questions. So the tool, the testing tool will measure what is indented. The test's intention will be there to assess, to evaluate the understanding level of the trainee, or application level of the trainee, or knowledge level of the trainee, and all really has to be measured. Application, ability, knowledge, ability, understanding, ability, this has to be measured. If it is measured properly, then it is valid one. So these are the important characteristics of a good test. Then let us see the reliability and validity relationship. See, so far we have discussed theoretically. Now we see some visuals. It will give you a very good, information. And reliable and valid. This one is reliable and valid. See, we have seen reliability, the the basic or the synonym for reliability and synonym for validity. And now you see the picture. You know this game is there. Hitting the target. Every time if you hit the target properly, then it is valid. If you hit the target here, it is valid one. And how it will be reliable? Every time if you hit the target properly, every time if you achieve the target properly, then it is called as reliability. So you see here, every time valid and all the time reliable. This first picture, from left we are seeing first picture. It is every time it is valid and every time, all the time it is reliable. And you see here, sometimes valid and outside you are hitting, sometimes outside the target. So it is not reliable. Sometimes you are hitting the target properly, so it is valid but not reliable. Because why it is not reliable? You are hitting the target from outside of the main target. So you are not properly hitting the target, so it is not reliable. But sometimes you are hitting the target properly, that you are achieving, that is reliable, valid. So valid, not reliable. And you see here, all the time you are not hitting the target. So you have to hit the target here. This is your target. If you hit properly, it is valid. You see here, all the time you are not hitting properly. Every time you are out of the target. That means reliable. Every time you are doing something is reliable, but that is not valid one. You are not hitting properly. You are not achieving the target, but all the time you are out of the target. You are hitting the target not properly. So it is reliable, but not valid. And neither reliable, not valid, you see. And this one is, it is not either valid or reliable. So neither reliable nor valid. So this is the relationship with reliability and validity. And these are the characteristics of good test. To understand the meaning or relationship with the validity and reliability, I have shown this picture. And let us discuss about the three important terminologies related to testing system of testing, then evaluation, assessment, and measurement. So before going to the definition, simple definitions of the evaluation, assessment, measurement, let us see the relationship, which is the broader term and which is the very simple term. Evaluation is a very broader term. You see, we have seen in third unit, we have seen the syllabus, curriculum, syllabus, module, unit, lesson, and lesson plan, the relationship between all those terms. And here, let us see, evaluation is the broader term. Evaluation is a broader term. And assessment is inside evaluation, assessment we have to do. And measurement is very particular, very specific. It is not so broader like evaluation and assessment. So all these terms like aim, goal, objective, this evaluation, assessment, measurements are looking like synonym to each other. It is not, in fact, it is not synonym to each other. Let us see the difference between evaluation, assessment, and measurement. So evaluation, how you can define evaluation? Evaluation is a systematic process to determine to what extent instructional objectives are achieved. You know very well, we have detailedly discussed about learning outcome, lesson plan, and instructional objectives in the previous classes. So instructional objectives are indented outcome, what the learners will be able to achieve, what they will be able to learn after completion of the course. So we have instructional objectives with us. To what extent the instructional objectives are being achieved. If we evaluate, if we find that, that is evaluation. So through evaluation, you can see the achievement of the instructional objectives. to what extent, how much 100% achieved, 90% achieved, or less than 40% achieved through the way of evaluation. Before evaluation, we have to conduct a test. It may be a theory test or a oral test. Systematically, we have to conduct all those tests. So many parameters are involved. So evaluation is a systematic process to determine to what extent the instructional objectives are achieved. And here you can find qualitative and quantitative. So qualitative and quantitative descriptions. What is the meaning of quality in general? See, the cloth is nice cloth, nice pen, nice thing. Like that, we will say that is, by seeing the quality. And quantity, how we will describe the quantity? 1 kg, 100 grams, 1 kilometer, 1 feet, 1 inch, like that we will state the descriptions of quantity. So I hope you know the general difference between the quality and the quantity. Even in evaluation, measurement, assessment system also, we are using these terms quality and qualitative and quantitative descriptions. This assessment is gather, interpret information and to make qualitative judgments. So assessment means what? We are assessing the person's performance by giving, very good, excellent performance. See this excellent, very good, good, average, below average and all qualitative judgments. You will not find numbers exactly. By collecting various performances, even through numbers only, marks only or points, finally the qualitative judgments will be made, like excellent, A star star, A star A, B star B, like that. So this assessment is gathering the information, interpreting the information, and to make the qualitative judgments. So through assessment, we can say the trainees or individuals' performance is excellent, very good, good, average or below average. So qualitative judgments are considered like that. And measurement is the process of assigning numbers, quantitative descriptions. So measurement means, like I said, 1 kilometer, 1 kg, 1 inch, like that. Here we are giving numbers for 100 marks, this many marks. For 10 points, 9 points, 8.5 points, 6 points, 7 points. So we say we are assigning numbers, so quantitative descriptions. So measurement value will be quantitative descriptions. Assessment value will be qualitative descriptions or qualitative judgment. And evaluation output or informations are qualitative as well as quantitative descriptions. So these are the important terms related to testing and evaluation, assessment and measurement. We must know all this. And let us see, as per the objectives, we are going one by one. And the next objective is multiple choice, which is a part of objective type of tests. All your final grade tests are multiple choice questions, particularly objective type of question, particularly multiple choice of question. So what is the structure and the criteria for multiple choice question? As an instructor trainee, as a CITS trainee, some of you may be instructors or some of you will become as an instructor, going to become as an instructor. You will construct various tests, particularly multiple choice question items. So you must know the structure and criteria for constructing the multiple choice question. Let us see the structures. It consists of 2 parts. So basically it consists of 2 parts. One is the STEM, the other one is the number of options. So the option is one term and STEM is the another term. STEM is the one part and the option is the another part. You can say term or the part. Let us see what is STEM. STEM is that question item. First line you will find, out of this city, which is the capital city of Karnataka. That is the STEM. And you will find the options. So 4 options are, mostly 4 options. Whatever options you are giving, 5 options means 5 options. So among those options, one will be the correct answer. Those are all options. STEM is the question item and the answers are options. So these are the 2 important parts should be covered in the multiple choice question. That is the structure. And the criteria, we have to see all these criteria are included in the multiple choice questions. The STEM is a question or statement that is answered by one of the alternatives. So you will have one best answer or one correct answer among the alternatives. So STEM is a question item, question, the first one line or two lines, sometimes 3 lines also you will find multiple choice questions. After that, the options will be there, 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. Then all incorrect or less appropriate alternatives are called distractors. So you are having distractors. If you give 4 options, if you find 4 options in a multiple choice question, 3 will be your distractors. 3 will be called as the distractors and 1 will be the answer, exact answer. So all incorrect or less appropriate alternatives are called as distractors. So this is one of the important criteria. Then a substantial amount of course content can be tested because the examinees do not require much time for writing the answers. So you can test the understanding ability and the learning ability of an individual, how much they learned from the portions, 3 months portion, 6 months portion, or 1 year portion, an entire duration of the course. Within 1 hour or 3 hours you can test. That is the meaning. In a substantial amount of time, a trainee can be tested by conducting the multiple choice question through the multiple choice questions and can be easily adapted for machine scoring. So OMR sheets, you are having OMR sheets. So through OMR sheets, it is very easy to evaluate the papers. Thousands, even lakhs of trainees are writing the exams. SSLC, even any SSLC exams are both descriptive and objective and subjective type of tests. For our CTS system, you can say all ITI boys are writing, used to write OMR sheet. Now on the system, it is, on the systems, online they are writing the tests. This multiple choice questions are being conducted through online. And previously people used to write through OMR sheets. So it is very easy to evaluate, and both OMR system and the online system. And this online is easier than OMR, faster than OMR. Choices, none of the above, all of the above should be avoided. So when you prepare a multiple choice question, you have one question STEM and 4 options. When you prepare a question item, none of the above, all of the above should be avoided. You should not use the term none of the above, all of the above, because the distractors are very less. You are not putting the distractors properly. Alternative should be 3 and 1 will be the correct answer. So this is one of the important criteria of the multiple choice questions. None of the above, all of the above should be avoided. So far you have seen the structure and the criteria of the multiple choice questions. You see some examples. Choose the correct answer, multiple choice question. So you have one question and 4 options. One question, 4 options. Learning leads to relatively permanent change in dash. Behavior, you see, I told you yesterday, fill up the blanks is not the objective type of question. It is a subjective type of question where you do not have the options. If you have option like this, see, if I put a dash here, if I put a filling the blanks here, then options if I am giving, then this will be objective type of tests. So as per the theory of evaluation, the test item or the question item where there is no scope for the answers, answer options are not given, those items are considered as subjective type of question. And where you have the options in the question item itself, you have the options, 4 options, that is called or considered as the objective type of question. There is no matter 1 mark question, 2 mark question, half mark question, or quarter mark question. So objective type of questions are question items where you will have predetermined answers. So all the answers will be available with you, by reading properly, you will choose the correct answer from that options. So that is called as objective type of question. So fill up the blanks is not always objective type of question, I mean subjective type of question. If you have option, it is absolutely objective type of question. Otherwise, it is a subjective type of question. So here, multiple choice, you have 4 options and 3 distractors are there. One is the correct. Your methodology subject only have prepared this one. Learn leads permanently changing behavior, status, economy, and employment. So the best answer, the correct answer is behavior. A. These 3 are distractors. And you see number 2, training is a systematic process which will develop among the 4 options, which will be correct: knowledge and skill, knowledge, skill, attitude, knowledge. So among these 4, 3 distractors are there. One right answer is there. 4 options you have given and 1 question. That is the STEM. It is called STEM. Training is a systematic process which will develop the knowledge, skill, and attitude. We know very well. C is the answer. So 3 distractors are A, B, D. So this is a good multiple choice question item. And third one, inside learning is connected with which domain? We know 3 domains are there under tax education objectives. And one included which is the proper domain related side, that is knowledge, affective, psychomotor, and imitation. So insight learning theory is related to knowledge, that is mind related. So answer is A, C, D are discussed. These are all not correct answers, but it looks like related to that unit, psychology unit, and you may get confusions. So finally, you will come to the conclusion that only one answer, correct answer, that is B. So in this way, as an instructor, you also should experience preparing the multiple choice questions with the criteria and with the structure, proper structure. Then let us see the next objective of this session: formative evaluation and the summative evaluation. There are 2 types of evaluation in general. One is formative evaluation, the other one is summative evaluation. This system of evaluation is being followed from the school, high school, higher secondary school, undergraduation, post-graduation, even research, up to research level also this system is being followed. Likewise, our CTS and CITS system also, we are following this formative evaluation and summative evaluation. Let us see the definition of formative evaluation. Formative evaluation refers to the process of assessing the learners periodically. So weekly wise or even daily, we can see the performance, whatever portions we are completing, whatever knowledge we are imparting, whatever the skills we are demonstrating, we can test those knowledge skills time to time by asking questions, by conducting tests, by asking them to do any practical work. And we have to record. We have for formative assessment, we have NSQF recommended one format. At the end, we will discuss that, because as an instructor, every instructor should have that record, formative assessment of a trainee for their performance. Based on their performance, we have to enter the data. We will discuss that. So it provides information about the rate of learning periodically, both in terms of quantity and quality. The quantitative descriptions means what? The qualitative descriptions means what? Excellent, they are doing very well is their performance related to quality, and quantity means assigning numbers for 100 marks, for 80 marks, for 50 marks, whatever they are scoring, we are assigning numbers. For 10 points or 10 marks, how much they are scoring, we are assigning numbers for that. Then the findings of this assessment are useful for diagnosing the strength and weakness of the learning and also the teaching as well. So the strength and weakness, always this SWOT analysis will be helpful for an individual, for a teacher, for an institution, for a district, or for a state, or the even department also. The strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. So what is the strength of our institute? What is the strength of our trade? What is the strength of our trainees, or what is the strength of that particular trainee? So this and all we will understand, or we will get it through the tests, through the formative evaluation process. So that is very important. Sometimes if they are lacking interest, that is their weakness. If they are showing very well, their performance is very well, that is their strength. And by seeing the weakness, by seeing their underperformance, we have to make them to perform well by motivating them properly and teaching them properly so that they will understand the subject well. Then summative evaluation. Summative evaluation intends to produce a measure which sums up the examinee's achievement. You know, sum up. Sum up means what? Finally summing up the summary, the total. That will be summarized, summing up the examinee's achievement. So overall achievement will be assessed and we will get the overall performance of the trainee by conducting the test and showing the test result. That is summative evaluation. So for example, final trade test or the SSLC final exam or higher secondary final exam and all, summative evaluation. After that, we can understand how much marks they scored. After this final trade test, CTS exam or CATS exam, how much they scored. That is the summative evaluation. It is a final and overall assessment of the extent to which the objectives of learning are achieved over a period of time. That is, on completion of the entire course, summative evaluation typically comes at the end of the course of instruction. So course of instruction means what? Teaching process. It may be an individual class course of instruction. And end of the course of instruction means every syllabus you are completing, every unit you are completing. At the end, 1 year course means final trade test will be at the end of 12th month. And 2 years course means 24th month, you will have the final trade test. So this summative evaluation result will show you the achievement, your achievement. 2 years you spent gain knowledge and skill about the particular trade and what will be your achievement. So that is the summative evaluation. And two more terms are there which is not in our syllabus, which is not included in our syllabus, but important terms and also very simple to understand. So I have included these two terms: criterion reference test, norm reference test. This criterion and norms, what criteria you are following, what criteria they are following, you will come to know all these terms. This and norms also, some norms you have to follow, some norms they are following, like that. So based on the criteria and norms, tests are being conducted. Let us see. Criterion reference test means what, and the norm reference test means what? Objective reference test or criterion reference test. This is criterion reference test also considered as objective reference, objective referred. So it is designed to measure person's performance with reference to the instructional objectives. So how well they are performing, how well they are achieving their instructional objectives, that will be your criterion reference test. For example, she will be able to type 40 words per minute without error. So this is the criteria, 40 words per minute without error. She has achieved that criteria. And he scored 90 marks in mathematics. So he has undergone mathematics course, mathematics tuition or mathematics class. He learned that subject and the particular subject test will be conducted. So the objectives are achieved with 90% marks. So these are the criterion reference test. You have the objectives and how much the objectives are achieved. You understood? I hope you understood well. There is an objective and tests are being conducted for the objectives and result has come. So the training has been given for an individual typing practice, and after that test being conducted and she scored 40 words per minute without error. So this is criterion reference test. The above performances are rated on how best they mastered the objectives. No comparison made to other candidates. You see, criterion reference test, there is no comparison. Whereas in norm reference test, you will have comparison. Let us see. Norm reference tests is the one which states the position where an examinee is located in a specific group of learners. You might have seen percentile. Percentile, GATE exams or some of the competitive exams, percentile will be given. Not for 100%, 100 marks, 99 marks they have scored. Not like that. Even NATA, and so many competitive exams are there, JEE and all. So percentile, by considering the thousands of or lakhs of aspirants, they will write the exam, then percentile will be given. For post-graduation engineering course, GATE exam is there. So percentile will be given, how much percentage you have scored among those group. So percentile. This is called as norm reference test. So first test will be conducted by seeing the achievement of the instructional objectives. Those instructional objectives performance will be compared with the other participants, means that is norm reference test. You see one example, she can type better than 90% of her classmates. So an individual will be compared with his or her colleagues, her learners. So in a class, 40 trainees are there or 20 trainees are there, means you are conducting the test. One individual, how much marks they scored, that will be compared with the other trainees. So one person is better than 90% of her classmate, means you are comparing that individual with the other members. Suppose 100 members are there, means if a person is scoring 90 marks, means then she is scoring better than 90% of the better than the remaining 90% of their students, like that. So she can type better than 90% of her classmates. So if the classmates are scoring lesser than her, so somebody may be better 100%, all the marks she scored means 100%. She is the first rank holder. So this is called a norm reference test. And the formative assessment format, you see, I told you, we have National Skill Qualification Framework, our syllabus, our reference book, the testing evaluation system, everything is based on the in NSQF, National Skill Qualification Framework. And let us see the format. This is the format of NSQF formative assessment. You see here, this is available, all the with all the instructors, or even in the one manual is there, NSQF manual. It is also available in internet, and you can find this format. And according to your trade, you can have this. See, name and address of the assessor means your instructor name and address, name of the instructor you can write. Then year of enrollment. This is for for different purpose. Year of enrollment is your trainee, which year. 1 year course means 1 year, 2 years course means 2 years. The enrollment, the admission. Then date of assessment means when you are assessing the individual, when you are conducting that assessment test, theory test or even practical test. Then for theory test, you will not find so many criteria. So only the knowledge will be tested. For practical one, only you will have more, criteria. The name and address of ITI or NSTI, you write here. Name and address of the industry, sometimes apprenticeship training or dual system of training. Our trainees will go to the industries. That time also they will have this assessment format. That time industry will write the name of the industry and the trainees name, their performance, their practical skill performance will be entered here. And trade name, electrician, fitter, electronic mechanic, computer operator, whatever trade you write. Examination, first, second time, third time, like that you mentioned here. Then learning outcome. You see, every learning outcome you have to prepare this, fill up this format. One particular test you give test, that learning outcome will be writing the program or designing layout by using Photoshop software, whatever it may be, the learning outcome you write here. Then particular candidate name, their father, mother details. One second, from DGT one call. Hello. Sir, yes sir, good morning sir. Yes sir. Good afternoon. Yes sir, yes sir. Fine sir, fine. Sir, shall I call you after for 15 minutes sir? I am doing this virtual class. After 15 minutes I will call you sir. Thank you sir. Excuse me, there is a call from DGT headquarters. So we are filling up this candidate's name and father's name. Here you see safety precautions. whatever, the font size is very small. I'll make it zoom. You can read this. You see safety precautions and workshop hygiene, attendance percentage, punctuality, abilities to follow written instructions, application of knowledge. You see so many criteria are there, and you have to give marks for that. You see for this 15 marks, for this 10 marks, this 10 marks, 5 marks, 10 marks, like that you are giving marks here. Candidates 1, 2, 3, 4, like that you can keep according to your attendance. You keep the records of the candidate. So this is the format of the internal assessment. And also you have the particular personal protective equipment, this PPE, and this is your assessment parameters. So for safety precautions, what and all you have to note down: dress code, use PPE means personal protective equipments like face shield, gloves, goggles, and shoes, and all you are using for that 5 marks. And safety, you are applying the safety, your trainees are applying safety also, you have points, and total 15 marks. So you have to see the how the the marks are divided to 15 marks. So components of assessment, these parameters are this one, and assessment parameters are safety consciousness, workplace hygiene, and economically you are using the materials, attendance register, attendance punctuality. Two trainees are doing well, one is very punctual and one is not coming regularly, means who is punctual only will score better marks than the other person. So, and that is also very important. And ability to follow manuals, written instruction materials. So many parameters are there. And also viva wise, we can also oral tests. Orally we can ask questions viva. Then quality in workmanship, speed in doing work, like that. 9 parameters are there. So we have to consider all the parameters, and every parameter maximum marks breakup is being given, and we have to follow all these things. So this is the formative assessment of the sir.
Sorry to disturb you again.
Sir.
We have already crossed 12 o'clock, sir. Actually, another teacher is there who has scheduled the lecture. So I would request you to kindly wrap up in 2 to 3 minutes, sir.
Yeah, yes, sir. 3 minutes enough. 3 minutes enough. 3 minutes enough, sir.
Okay, sir.
So within 3 minutes we will complete. We are in the end of the session, and I have not included this Kirkpatrick's level of evaluation, Kirkpatrick method, because there are a lot of methods are there in system of training and education. So many years we have not followed this Kirkpatrick evaluation model, but we also faced the CTS and CITS evaluation and education, testing systems. This is one of the models which is there in the syllabus. Just for experience, there are 4 levels. Level 1 reaction, level 2 is learning, level 3 is behavior, and level 4 is the result. We are evaluating the performance of the individuals after the training. It may be an individual class, a particular class, or the particular course, 1 year course or 2 years course. After that, what will be the reaction? See, this Kirkpatrick training evaluation is all the levels are after the training. So after the training only evaluation. You know very well, evaluation is always conducted at the end to get the feedback or to get the result. So after the training program, what is the reaction? So what really the trainees like the program? It is relevant to their their skill. It is good. They have spent that time, and what is the style of teaching and all, they're satisfied. That reaction, immediate reaction, and learning about learning. What are the the characteristics? Did the trainees learn what they intend to be taught, and the trainees experience what was intended intended for them to experience. See, we have the intended outcome, that is instructional objectives, really that has been achieved or not. So the learning point of view, that is the evaluation. And the behavior, after learning the skill and the knowledge, really their attitude has been changed or not. So how the behavioral change, how they applied their knowledge and skill wherever they are working, or after the successful completion of the training program, really their behavior is changed. To assess that, to evaluate that, is the third level. And the final is result. If they are joining in a company, after before training, how was their performance? After the training, how is the performance? How is their performance? That is a result. So the efficiency is increased, the productivity is increased, means the training is yielding good result. So this is the Kirkpatrick evaluation model, and you can see detailedly. I will send you, I will share this PowerPoint presentation, and even you have the reference book. We have that training methodology book, very detailedly in a simple manner. The informations are available. You can go through that. So with that, I am closing the session because our host requested us to conclude the session. So thank you. And we have discussed what is test as per the today's objective. What is test? What are the good characteristics of test? What is the advantages of test? Then relationship between assessment, evaluation, and measurement. Then criteria and structure of multiple choice question. Then formative evaluation, summative evaluation difference. Then formative evaluation parameters, format as per the NSQF, and how to fill up that. So with this, I will conclude the session.